Stars fans. This is Mighty Melbourne Stars. We got a very special episode today. Here's my co-host.
G'day guys, Mama Stars News here, and yes, we are having a very exciting episode. It's our first preview or opponent analysis for the BBL 14 season. We're going to be discussing a few things about the Brisbane Heat this episode, but I'll hand back over to Heath and let him take over.
Okay, thank you. Our opponents, Brisbane Heat. Obviously, last year they won the premiership, or the title, as you like to call it. They were very fantastic. Had a lot of contributors to their success. Who would you pick out as one of their key players that we need to watch out for, and how we can overcome them?
Well, I think last season the Heat had a lot of key players that led them to victory. I noticed towards the back end of the season and during the finals period that Josh Brown was obviously a standout. He was their top run scorer for the season with 366 runs. And then you've obviously got the other experienced players, mainly internationals such as Colin Munro and Paul Walter. They were really big for him, playing key roles. And then you've obviously got the domestic players like Nathan McSweeney, Matt Renshaw. Didn't get many games in, but you got Sam Billings, and then you've also got their strong bowlers of Xavier Bartlett, Spencer Johnson, and Matt Kuhneman. So I think all those players really play a factor in the premiership. A lot of them are away for international duties with Australia, but I think all those guys kind of led them to victory.
Yeah, no, that's good. My key player for them would have to be Michael Nisar, or Nisar, how you say his name. Like, he was very pivotal in the Heat premiership win, as he took a lot of critical catches for them, not just the final series, throughout the year. I reckon when we're bowling to the Brisbane Heat, we will have to be spot on, because with the likes of um, with the likes of the key players that you mentioned, if we bowl anything short or anything full, they're just going to keep teeing us off, and we're going to have to bowl accurate line and length straight to the point, so we can get them out, as they've been our bogey side for the past few years. What have you admired about the Brisbane Heat throughout the years, and to where they got to obviously last year? What do you think of them as a whole?
Well, the main thing, I thought they were really consistent, and I thought their lineups were paired really well. I think they had a good mix of batters, bowlers, all rounders, keepers, all that kind of stuff. It seems as even with star players like Kawaja and Marnus and Michael Neser being unavailable, they still stepped up. You know, players like Jimmy Pearson and McSweeney really stepped up to the table. So I just kind of admire a bit of their passion and determination to really get to the final. They weren't, when they went into BBL 14, they definitely weren't contenders or weren't the team that you'd think were going to win the grand final with ease. But they got it done. So, yeah, I really just admire how consistent they were throughout the season with being able to fight over those obstacles.
Yeah, no, that's very good. And I honestly put that down to resilience and mental strength, as they used to be terrible back in the day. Like, they would get out and have collapses like you wouldn't believe it. So I'm just trying to figure out what to say next, as this is a bit of a stepping point
Well, I think
for how much Brisbane.
we're going to look at this year, how we're going to tackle this year's
Yeah,
game. You know, obviously the Heat are down some players because a lot of them are too good to the point where they've been selected for the Australian team. For example, Nathan McSweeney. So they're going to be missing a lot of players, the Heat, and they're going to have to find some replacements. So that could challenge them a little bit. It could also benefit us, the Stars, hoping that a lot of their bowlers, like Xavier Bartlett and Spencer Johnson, are possibly reserves travelling with the Australian team throughout the summer, which could affect the Brisbane Heat's campaign. And then obviously Kawaja and Labuschagne probably won't be playing any games for the Brisbane Heat this summer. So it'll be interesting to see who steps up for them. They've still got some players like Max Bryant, Jimmy Pearson, but they've traded Josh Brown now to the Renegades. So there's another key player that they've lost. So I think that all benefits us when we face them twice. We face them in BBL 14 on the 18th of December and on New Year's Day.
Yeah, no, that's good. I wanted to get your thoughts on Josh Brown's departure from the Heat to the Renegades. Do you reckon it will have? Do you reckon it'll be a big loss for the Heat, considering he was, in our opinion, very. He was probably one of the reasons why the Brisbane Heat got to where they were and won the thing, basically off his performance.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it was kind of off Josh Brown's performance in that qualifying final or semi-final in BBL 13. And my thoughts on the trade, well, I think it's a little bit early to tell, but it'll be interesting to see how the Heat handle this obstacle. As I just mentioned before, they've dealt really well with players leaving and other players then stepping up. But this one, it'll be challenging for them losing a top order batter who's been consistent as well. So yeah, I'm really not too sure how they're going to go. It's a bit early to tell, but I mean, for the Renegades, obviously, that's big for them. They're looking to grow with their experienced players and pair them with their young players. So no, I think it's a good trade. Probably not a good trade for the Heat, but yeah, those are my overall thoughts on it.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll get to the Renegades in our next preview, but we're focusing on the Brisbane Heat. So obviously we're gonna now talk about like with the leading run scorer and the wicket taker. Who do you reckon will win those for the Brisbane Heat? You reckon?
That's a good question. Um, for the Heat, I think someone who's been really consistent for them is Colin Munro. He was their second top run scorer last season with 224 runs. And when you look at some of the other guys who are up there, you got Josh Brown and Nathan McSweeney and Sam Billings. Those three guys are all gone. They're not really going to get a chance. McSweeney's not really going to get a chance to play for the Heat. And obviously, Josh Brown and Sam Billings have been traded. So I think Colin Munro will step up again. 224 runs throughout the season says enough. He's been consistent for him for a while now, and he's my player who I think will lead them again. Wicket taking wise, Xavier Bartlett and Spencer Johnson were up there at the top last year for him. I think those guys will get a few games in, considering most of their stuff for Australia has already been done. They played the T20 and the ODI series, and now I think they will get a chance in the Big Bash. So I think those guys will be up there again. If not, then Mitchell Swepson is always an option, or Paul Walter for me.
You know, that's very nice. For me, for the leading run scorer, I got similar to you. I'll go like Colin Munro as a neutral fan. I just like watching him go about his business. He knows what to do. He can hit the power shots, and he can also play defensive, and he can just hold an innings, which is really good for the leading wicket taker. I'll go Spencer Johnson. Just like with his line and length and his variety of balls that he bowls, he's just very unpredictable to the batters, which I reckon, or sorry, to the opposition batters. That's what I reckon will be the wicket taker. So we'll do a couple more things and then we will discuss like the news for the podcast and what's going on there, future plans. I was gonna say, what's your prediction? Obviously, Brisbane Heat are coming off the premiership. How do you reckon they'll go this year, and what's a realistic expectation for them in your eyes?
Yeah, that's another great question. Look, realistically, when you've just won the grand final, you'd expect the team to once again make the finals at least. I think that's a minimum for the Brisbane Heat. But those points that we've just talked about of those players that they've traded and those players that they've lost to international selection, it might be challenging. So players are going to have to step up. But my prediction would be Brisbane Heat to finish uh, third or fourth. I'm going to go. I'll lock in third. A win loss record, I'd say 7-3 out of the 10 games. That's my prediction.
No, that's really good. For my prediction, I like. like obviously I'll reiterate. So, yep, no, they have to go again, at least make the finals and at least win a final for them. I am going to predict them to lock in to finish fifth. I know it's a bit of a drop off, but normally with teams who win the premiership in the Big Bash, normally the other teams they they can read, they'll be chasing after you, and I don't think Brisbane Heat have got the not the quality but the resilience to try and stay good as opposition teams will be chasing them like ourselves.
Yeah, I think we're definitely chasing them. And look, we play them twice throughout the season, and I hope that we beat them both times. It'll be challenging. We play them once up there in Brisbane on New Year's Day, and we also play them here on our opening home game at the MCG on the 18th of December. So everyone listening, make sure you get down there and support the boys in green. Um, I think we'll beat them in Melbourne. I think the Stars are going to come out firing. Hopefully Joe Clark puts on a little bit of a show. Hopefully Maxwell is available then. Um, I think the Brisbane game we might win or lose. It's hard to tell. Let's say they win and we go one win, one loss against them in the season. That's how I feel.
Yeah, no, I take that. For the Brisbane Heat's win-loss record for me, since I reckon I finished fifth, there's 10 games, so I reckon about 6 and 7. So they'll just sneak in the finals, and there might be a sneaky shot, but there's like other teams like the Strikers and the Sixers who are chasing them, and also I'm not going to say Hurricanes or Thunder or Renegades. I don't think they'll do well either. But you never know. Like it's anyone's competition this year.
I think the thing with the Big
Obviously,
Bash
yeah.
is that it's such a short tournament that a couple wins or a bad start or a good start can really define your season. Like we saw the Stars have a terrible start, and then we had a patch where we were up in the top four because we were winning a lot of games, and then we ran out of time by the end. So I think if you win your first two or three games, you're pretty much set up for some sort of final spot if you can just keep a little bit of consistency and win a couple of games. So I think what I love about the Big Bash is there's only 8 teams and anyone can really play finals. You could be eighth one year and then the next year you could finish in finals. That's what I love about the BBL.
Yeah, definitely. I just love the anticipation of everyone gets to play everyone at least twice. The fix. Oh, I was going to talk about. Do you reckon the fixture is or the draw is fair for the teams, or do you reckon it's a bit harsh, or the Big Bash just favors the good teams and gives the Stars and the lower teams like the wooden end of the stick, if you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's 8 teams in the comp and there's each team plays 10 games. So unfortunately for some teams, they're going to end up playing a stronger team twice and other teams are going to end up playing a weaker team twice. We've drawn the short straw, and we've ended up playing the Brisbane Heat twice. We're also playing the Renegades twice, which is kind of an unwritten rule now, HBBL, which we don't mind. Obviously, we love the rivalry. So we do have a challenging fixture, especially at the start where we play the first 4 matches are the 4 teams who made finals last year. So that's going to be really challenging for us. But no, I think the fixture's pretty even. I mean, it's good that we're playing each team, so um, high expectations for us though. But yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, I reckon. So obviously, we're going to now drift our attention to like the future plans of the podcast. Did you want to let the fans know who wasn't on our live stream what's going on? As I saw your breaking news before on Instagram. Did you want to tell the fans a bit about what we're going to get up to in the next few coming days and months?
Yeah, so I've been posting a lot recently about the breaking news. Just quickly, I'll touch on that um, with the Sam Amir and Glenn Maxwell. So make sure you go and look at those posts for more information at Melbourne Stars News. With the podcast, yeah, for those who are listening, throughout the summer, there's going to be a lot more episodes. We're going to be previewing, which is what we're doing now, for each team. Some of the episodes we're going to try and get some guests on, maybe even special guests. And then for after the games, we're also going to be doing reviews where fans or followers of mine will jump on and we'll have a chat about the games. Do you want to say anything, Heath?
Yeah, no. So I'll explain to the fans out there. So like so I was talking to my co-host today about fan cams. So I got the idea from Jake from Saints TV. Shout out Jake, love the podcast and everything. So what he does and what we're gonna do is very similar. He's got the Saints guests. We got the Stars fans. So what's going to happen is we're going to make a group chat. Or my co-host's going to make a group chat of the fans. He's going to send the link to the group chat, and down where the guest is, they'll be waiting for to jump on and share the thoughts after the review. So that's what's going to happen. I thought it'd be a good idea to expand the podcast and get the general feel, thoughts of what you guys can can give us, and just be Stars supporters and not go and abuse the club on Instagram, as I know a lot of Stars fans love to do. So this is another way to get the rant off the chest, and same with the win and celebrate as well. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the podcast is all about celebrating the Stars, so we look forward to having some more guests on, and yeah, just enjoying the cricket season, this summer of cricket.
Yeah, definitely. And the next preview, I'll give the tease. It'll be the Derby, the Melbourne Renegades. So that will be dropping. That'll be dropping in the coming week. So stay tuned for that. As always, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, ring the notification bell. Don't forget to don't forget to follow myself and my co-host on Instagram, and don't forget to follow the podcast account on Instagram, and my co-host is gonna give away some special Stars things, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, definitely was a good first preview for the Big Bash.
Yeah, I really liked how we analysed the opposition and just gave some pointers on who we need to look out for and what our game plan needs to be going into BBL 14. And yeah, as you said, many more to come. This was the first real analysis, and we look forward to many more. But thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, no, definitely go Stars.
Go Stars.
No, see you.
What you doing? You just wanna sunset. You don't want my heart, baby. What you doing? You just wanna sunset.